A very warm welcome to the Made in China podcast. Today we are very happy to sit in Damien's office once again, and together with Dr. Gang Lu, founder of the TechNode group, a very well-known name in the China tech scene, and now also co-founder of the Beyond Expo in Macau. We will talk about this later. A very interesting concept. Very warm welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, it's my great pleasure and my honor to be here. Thank you.
So we normally start with 3 quick questions. It's a little bit icebreaker questions to get to know you a little bit better. And the first question would be, what is your favorite breakfast?
The first one was like Chinese breakfast.
小馄饨.
No, 油条.
Oh, 油条.
Yeah. 油条 and 豆浆.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
What was the last picture you've taken with your phone?
My last picture.
Check it out.
Well, I just been to Korea. I think the last picture is that we had like a meeting with like sort of like a Korean government. It's very well. I didn't expect that formal, but before we enter the room, I see like it's the label there say like welcome, like a Beyond Expo. That's a photo. So it's but also everything written in Korean. So I took the photo.
Nice.
Yeah, it's quite it looks very serious, but we didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's very nice and very interesting. So the last question, the last icebreaker question, you are very, very busy. And what do you do to relax after a long day?
Watch movie. I love horror movie.
Oh,
I don't know why when watching horror movie, I feel more relaxed.
Yeah.
So watch movie and also music.
Yeah. I also just like movies if somebody dies in the movie.
Really?
If nobody dies, it's too boring.
Nah, then I can't sleep. You guys are too tough.
Yeah, sometimes play guitar a bit. I'm not a very good one, but I think just help me to kind of calm down. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Guitar's cool. Yeah, and for everyone who doesn't know you yet, could you introduce yourself to our audience, and what is it what you do at TechNode?
Yeah, well, so basically, the long story short, the TechNode is a tech media, but actually when I started long time back, I think I started, everything started back to 2006 or 2007. So TechNode basically was my personal hobby. It's just my personal blog. Actually, I have nothing to do with a journalist, or I'm not like media person at all. I did my PhD in computer science. So when I was in UK, while I was doing my PhD, I started because my PhD computer science. So I started like reaching out, searching for like new technology or new things. I think around 2006. Then I found a website. It's a blog, tech blog called TechCrunch. Then I think that time we called Web 2.0. That's that type of world. So I started reading TechCrunch like every day because that time TechCrunch wrote lots about like new startups. I feel so fascinating because it's so many new ideas. Then I feel I was really kind of educated or inspired by everything written on TechCrunch. But that's everything happening in Silicon Valley. So I say, maybe why not? Why we should have something about China, about China tech. Now also it's not in Chinese, but also in English, because I think TechCrunch educated me about Silicon Valley. I think that was so many years ago. I think so. Probably we need a publication or at least a blog can tell what's really happened in China. So actually before I started TechNode, my own blog, actually the first thing I did is I wrote an email to the founder of TechCrunch. I think Michael Ayrton. Well, often no surprise because I was like nobody. I sent him email. I say, I'm from China. I'm passionate about technology in China. So maybe I can be your like a guest writer and to write about China. Of course, then nobody replied to me. So after a while, I say, oh, so maybe I can just start something on my own as my hobby. So I started TechNode. So since then, I think from 2007 until around 2012, it's been like 5 years. I kept it as my personal hobby, which means I was writing whenever I have something to write. But until 2012, I moved back to China from UK like 2008. Then until 2012, I think that time I realized because around 2012, in China, we have 3G network. I think many of the startup ecosystem really took off around that time because of the 3G. So that's why China jumped from Web 2.0 to the mobile internet. So I think that's how I feel, wow, probably that's the technology, the industry, especially the startup innovation part, is really warming up. I think it makes more sense because if you look at the ecosystem, we have startup, we have VCs, we have media. Media is also important, especially for the startup. So I said, oh, maybe I should turn my hobby into my career. So around 2012, I decided to turn TechNode, my personal blog, as a media company. So that's how everything started. So since then, so TechNode basically is a media, it's like a bilingual media. We read about China on a daily basis in Chinese and in English, and try to tell what's really happening in China from kind of a Chinese user perspective. So that's I think until now. Then during the trip, I think 4 years back, because we saw the more and more Chinese company they are going to Southeast Asia. So we launched a new site we call TechNode Global. But if you go to technode.global, it's another website, but you can compare with technode.com. Technode.com, all the pieces about China, but technode.global, I think most of the pieces about Southeast Asia. It's not really to do with China. So now we used to focus on China only, but now we are more and more focused on kind of Asia because I think Asia is the future in the technology space. It's only about China. Korea, Japan, and South Asia is a huge market. So this is what I'm doing on the media side. But of course, if you look at the media, always media is we are related to the events. So we also run events. Plus I think I launched the company back to 2012. Then 2013, it's interesting. Then 2013, TechCrunch approached us. Then
nice,
because they don't have basically don't have like local reporter in China that time, and also even in Asia. At that time, we only have one reporter based in Thailand. So basically, we signed our strategic partnership with TechCrunch. So basically, we run TechCrunch China from around 2013 until 2019. So I think that many people came to TechCrunch China events before COVID.
Oh.
So for me, that time I ran basically 2 brands, TechCrunch China and also TechNode, my own company. Then starting from 2021, I think we were still big enough to launch a new event called Beyond Expo in Macau during the COVID. But luckily we kind of survived. It's quite suffering, but we survived. So we managed Beyond Expo for 5 editions already. So the vision for Beyond Expo is we trying to build like kind of Asian version of CES in Macau.
So you must be very busy every day. So we are also very happy and lucky to have you here, that you take your time to share your knowledge, share your experience about the tech scene in China. And today, like what TechNode and what Beyond Expo also does is connecting China's startup scene with the rest of the world and inviting the rest of the world to Asia to see. When you talk to people from the West especially, what is still the biggest misconception people have about the Chinese tech scene?
Well, I think it's I think it's a very good question. I think if you compare, there's still, first of all, I totally agree, it's still misunderstanding. But I think right now the misunderstanding compared with like 10 or maybe 15 years ago is very, very different now. When I started TechNode, I think because I have the same question, because so much misunderstanding. But at that time, I always say that back at that times when the kind of Western media talk about China, always two keywords. The first keyword is copycats. Like 20 years ago, I think, which I have to say actually that was true or partially true. We copy everything from Silicon Valley. All the big companies in Silicon Valley, you can find something similar in China. And also the truth is, most of the Chinese copycat, they become a huge company right now in China. So the one is copycat. The second is the censorship. Mm-hmm. I think they're always the two keywords when kind of it's with media to talk about that. But if you look at now, I think it's a change. The bigger change is not misunderstanding. The biggest change is we talk about 20 years ago. We talk about it's like a copy to China, but now it's other way around. It's copy from China. So I think that's a big change. But still, there's the misunderstanding. Is still the lots of people think like China copy many things from West. But I really feel right now it's not about copy. I think even there's a copy, but the copy doesn't make sense anymore because if you compare China with US, for example, the two tech ecosystem is totally different. I think if we say 15 years ago, we copy that, we can still apply that kind of Western model to China. But now, even if you copy, the model doesn't work anymore. And also, you even talk about like media, social media is a totally different social media environment, right? And also the business model, the way how people play with the internet, is very different. So copy doesn't make sense anymore. And so secondly, I think in many sectors, China is taking the lead instead of following. Like the drone, EV, actually there are many things. So it doesn't make sense to copy at all. So this is, I think secondly, there's something I think drive us. I think we see more and more Chinese new generation of entrepreneurs. Mm. I think the big difference is if you look at the kind of first generation of the Chinese, like the big guys, Tencent, even like Xiaomi or BYD, if you look at all the founders, they don't speak that much English. That's why they kind of people see maybe in the Western media because they don't really have the chance to interview all these guys. So that's why there are misunderstanding. So basically, these guys they are not really talking to English media, right? But if you look at the new generation, actually more and more the like unicorn founders in China, actually they are very well educated in West, or at least they can speak English. So I think they are more open to spill the world, to tell their story. And I think this is something, I think sort of misunderstanding. I think all the Chinese new guys, they are more open than before. They want to talk to the Western instead of building war around them. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it very well. I think you cannot take an idea from the US and copy it in China. It will work, right? That maybe a couple of decades ago that worked, but since many years it doesn't work anymore. Now, what you said is we should actually look to China as an innovator, a creator, and probably copy from China, right? And use things we are used to here in this country, in other markets, maybe in the US and maybe in Europe.
Yeah.
At the same time, we see that this is probably also not very easy, right? Because in many Chinese organizations, as we said, the language is Chinese. and sometimes not everyone is used to different countries or speaks the English language. What do you see? Which companies or what products or which technologies are already very successful when it comes to going abroad, like from China to different markets?
Well, if you talk about like maybe by sector, right, or I think right now is always hardware. I think we can not ignore. I think China had the sort of advantage of building hardware. So that's why if you look at all the hardware in different sector, the phone, phone is so many like Chinese phone, and I think Oppo, Vivo, the phone they are making is, I would say, it is way better, also much faster, like innovated, compared to like even Apple or Samsung. So phone, and also some small like hardware, like for example, maybe the good one we have one is Insta 360, the kind of sporty camera. I think when they started, I think they're the competitor from US, the GoPro.
Yeah, GoPro.
Right, GoPro I think is way bigger than Insta 360, but now I think it's been beaten by Insta 360
I think
as
so,
well. And also, I think the always surprise to me is if you look at GoPro, I think they never, well, to me it seems like the product, they never change that much. Well, it's developing from 2K to 4K, but if you look at the product line of Insta 360, is amazing. They have so many category, and every time you see something like new or fascinating, but it's not something GoPro is focusing on. Yeah, I think this, if you look at the many or robots, right, it's not just industry robots, but also like home robots, service robots. There's so many. But of course, it's also a reflection of the tough competition in China, because there are so many companies that are doing the same thing. Yeah, which is sometimes we see is not really healthy ecosystem.
Yeah, and you already said you said you were stupid when launching Expo in 2021, but I think it was a very, very smart move, because it now is a hub, and it's a major global event for technology and innovation in Asia. And as you said, all the Asian countries and regions are working together to build up an ecosystem for AI, for EVs, for e-commerce, for technology, and it's really important. So when you and your other co-founders had the first idea of doing this, how did this happen? So what was your vision when you launched it?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. So first of all, I think to me, as I said, when I launched TechNode, I think the reason behind TechNode is I want to build a bridge at the media to bridge China with the rest of the world, right? And then secondly, when we look at when we think of Beyond, I think how we potential Beyond is we want to build Beyond for Asia. So, but because we've been to so many events. So first of all, if you look at the event business itself, right, we have like Web Summit in Lisbon, we have MWC in Barcelona, we have Slush in Helsinki, CES in US, VivaTech in France. There are several others. They are like big, very famous events. But if you look at it, but actually none of them come from Asia. But if you look at the industry, actually the most active tech innovation industry is in Asia. Is China, of course, but also Korea, Japan, and South Asia potential is a huge market as well. But if you counting India, well, it's another huge market as well. But the thing is, nothing really, started in Asia or can really represent the tech innovation of Asia. So I think this something drive us is we need one more platform at least we can bring all the Asian tech companies together to represent Asia. Of course, then if we can make things right, we can also attract more and more, the potential like business partner from US, from Europe, because actually if you look at Asia, is first of all is huge. Secondly, actually Asia is probably even more fragmented compared to Europe. Well, Europe has so many countries, but at least there are many countries they can communicate in English, right? But if you look at the Asia, China, Korea, Japan, the three big guys, we have very different language, right? And also, I think for Korea or Japan, the English is not that popular as well, so it's really hard to communicate. So secondly, if you look at South Asia, it's so many countries there, and culture different, language different. So and also it's like the stage of the tech industry also is very different as well. I think they are like 20 years behind maybe China, Korea, Japan. So it's very hard to communicate. So, but it's very difficult to do. But from other hand, I think if we can make that happen, that will create lots of values. So yeah, so that's why we decided, okay, let's do our events, because the event itself is also a platform, right? And so secondly is when we think about how we are going to do that or where we're going to do this is because we are kind of benchmark CES. Yeah, well, why we benchmark CES is, I think it's quite obvious, is if you look at the CES, the company going to CES, I would say more than half, maybe even more than, I don't know, maybe even more than that, is they all come from Asia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the the Samsung, not owned by China, is so many Asian face at CES. Mm-hmm. So, but again, there should be, why not we have another international platform in Asia for then all these guys is cost, less and also easier for them to travel. Mm-hmm. But then we pick up the place is because we benchmark CES, then why people love CES? Because actually most people, they love Las Vegas, right? Because the Las Vegas is lots of fun in Las Vegas. And people, I think we've been asked many times, it's actually the same question, why people, we go to Las Vegas or CES, not because the company interested in the market of Las Vegas, right? But it's the same thing. So we pick up Macau. Macau is the Asian version of Las Vegas, right? It's nothing to do with technology. It's a very small market, but it's full entertainment. And they have lots of hotel. The facility actually was very good. Even I think it's much newer than Las Vegas. So they have all the infrastructure for the events. It's small, but actually small means people can come closer. Actually, it can very much connected in Macau, right? So and then we say, I think people see, if we go to CES, I'm sure like probably everybody does that. Like you spend lots of time at CES, the expo, to talk to the potential business partner, and during the drink. I don't think in Las Vegas you are going to back to a hotel and sleep. You have to hang out with someone else, somewhere, or go somewhere to drink or to have fun. I think this exactly. I think it's kind of unique in Macau as well. I think probably Macau is quite unique in Asia as well. So so that's how everything happened.
Nice. And yeah, you are an expert about technology as well. So which technological fields and developments right now in China excite you the most?
Oh, I personally really like AI hardware. I think that's really future. But I think if you look at the product, like specific product, I do think the glasses is for the future. But maybe the glasses, I don't know if it's going to be something like a Meta, the Ray-Ban. But I think the glasses will getting very popular kind of wearable devices in future. I think the glasses itself is the second kind of display or second screen compare after the phone screen. But there are some other AI hardware I think I really like because I think the glasses may be the one thing, but to me, I do believe we're going to have something. I think phone is not going to the only kind of mobile devices you're going to carry every day. There must be something else. Glasses probably one thing, but there might be something else. This is I found very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that because I also read a lot about glasses and we write a lot about it in our newsletter, but I've never seen it in daily life. But maybe this will change in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I believe in the AI glasses or smart glasses, but maybe just right now the technology is not there yet because you so many. I think I tried many. Well, I think each one will say, "Oh, it's good," but feel it's not something I'm going to wear every day.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I believe is, if it is glasses, it must be the glasses people is willing to wear every day.
Yeah.
But now maybe it's too heavy, maybe it looks ugly or always. But I think it's technology going to solve that. I think it's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Looking forward to it. And you're a close watcher of these technologies, also a bridge builder. You also get a lot of prizes and awards for it, like the Overseas High-Level Talents Award by Shanghai. It's a very distinguished prize. Entrepreneurial Award of the British Council Study, UK Alumni Awards. And congratulations to this, because you also have a PhD, as you said, in wireless communication. So I would be very interested. How was your engineering background, how would it influence your way as thinking of a founder? Because it's always, I'm more like the artist guy, you're the engineer guy. So how is it different to other founders?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of story I can share with you. I think you are asking exactly the right question, because to me, I think my background is very. Sometimes I feel kind of messed up, because my first job when I was in the UK, actually I was a developer. So I say, I get deep in my heart, I was still a geek. But what I'm doing now, and people see me as the journalist or media guy, but I never been edited as a media, so I don't really know how media business is running. Then I'm doing my PhD. The PhD supposedly is more like an academic guy.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing like a founder or in the industry. It's like it's like two sides of fighting each other. So exactly, I think I didn't mention. So actually back to 2012, I said I decided to turn my hobby as my career. So basically I set up company and become founder. I think I still remember probably it's more like for the first half of the year since I started this at the company, I feel I lost myself, because just like maybe the easy example is when it was my hobby, I can write anything I want to write. I can say, okay, maybe I'll stop for 2 weeks, then I will. Oh, I want to write something, but. So it's also no pressure of like a revenue. Basically just take care of yourself, right? Then when I started a company and when I started setting up the job, I have to talk to the investor. Mm-hmm. I have to talk to my team. I have to think about how to feed the team every day. Where's the revenue come from? So then it's all of a sudden is as a blogger, I just find a cafe, very relaxed and start writing anything, it's very relaxed. But when you become founder, you have to fight for something every day.
Yeah.
A lot of things you have to think about. So I think it's a dramatic change to me. I think that really that took me probably half a year settle down to say, oh, I'm a founder now. I have to think from different angle about the media. Yeah, so it's a big. And also, this is something I think I still remember. The secondly, as you ask, is my background is not media background, but I think this is also interesting as well. I think why people like TechNode at the first place, I think I have to thanks to my background, because when people start reading, I didn't write that much right now, but at the beginning is just my own work. I think the people kind of when they reading the stuff I'm writing, first of all, because I wrote everything in English. I'm not like perfect English writer. There are lots of grammar mistake at times. Well, still now, but when people read read the article, I think the people can feel. I think all the people I interview with is more on the technology side, and also because I read about like a Chinese company, so I wrote from like a Chinese angle, so that I think people realize if you read a reporter or professional reporter, probably they never ask some question I'm going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for the reporter, they always want to write some breaking news, right? And to just try to catch an eyeball. But for me, I try to, maybe sometimes I want to really dig inside, say, oh, how the technology works. So actually the angle is really different. So then I feel I'm the one of, I'm one with few journalists who can really understand the technology, how technology works. So it become kind of unique, I think, advantage to me if you see me as a journalist, right? Because most of journalists, they come from like the financial background or I don't know, like cultural background. But me, I just a programmer. Like that's why it also help is most of the founders, actually they come from engineering background. I'm from engineering background, so that's why I feel actually it's much easier for me to become a friend of all the founders because we speak basically the same language. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's quite interesting. I realize if I kind of recall, is maybe what you are majoring in university doesn't really that much matter, but sometimes maybe you can turn you kind of disadvantage to become to be your advantage. If you can make it that right.
Yeah, very, very nice. And what would you kind of advise? What advice would you give to international entrepreneurs who want to enter China's innovation ecosystem today?
I think there are a few. First of all, I think when we talked about a little bit before is I think now in China we have quite a few kind of technology or products can copy from China. So I think that's also why we see more and more Chinese company they are going overseas market because they see there are something missing in overseas market. They see why their product fits the international market as well. So I would say maybe 20 years ago we are thinking about how the international company come to China, try to conquer the Chinese market. But now I have to say sorry because Chinese market is so hard to be conquered by the international. It's because so much different. But instead, maybe you can pick up like something or product here, then bring back to the international market. Probably that's much easier because I think it's the same as when the international company come to China, there's a cultural difference. But when the Chinese company going to overseas, that's what we are seeing now. They are facing lots of culture difference as well. Then the local company, that's the advantage of local company. But what they are missing is a product. But actually, I think most of the product is not like really high tech, right? But they can take something from China. So this is one thing. Yeah, I think that's something I would tell.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And if you think of the year 2035, so in 10 years, and what do you think, what kind of world will we live in when it comes to tech, and what role will China play in this world? We all will have glasses, for example, I think.
Yeah, I think, well, if you look at the technology side, I will be very much interested in like the what's it called, the brain machine interface. Over 10 years, I think this is could be a huge change to almost everything. Is even, for example, like even you have glasses, but now still you have glasses, you have to play with your phone. I have play with the glasses. But think about that, when you have the glasses, but the glasses can interact directly with your brain, I think that will be magic. I think this is going to be a new world, like the brain machine interface. No matter what format or what hardware it will look like, but it's going to be kind of mixed world of virtual and the reality. I think that's something might happen in 10 years. Talking about China, I'm not quite sure. I think talking about China, well, at least I hope, is because, as I said, I'm sure probably in more sectors, China is going to take the lead in the tech space. But my personal kind of wish or hope in the tech industry is on the business side. I think for sure we're going to see more Chinese tech companies. They are doing a great job in the international market. But also on the other side, hopefully we can see more truly international tech brand from China. The reason I said so, because actually, so many Chinese tech company or tech product from China. They are doing a great job in the international market. But think of, we have like all like Google or IBM or all the tech companies. They are doing great, but they have very strong international branding, right? But if you look at China, if you ask people around the world, they just know like maybe Baidu or BYD. But there are not that many of truly global recognized tech brand from China. Even they are doing a lot of sales. So I think probably in 10 years, maybe people were going to see like a new IBM from China, I don't know, new Google from China. I don't know. There's something I'm looking forward.
Yeah, that's a very good wish. And maybe in 10 years, if we are still here and this podcast is still here, then we can make an update and see how this worked out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gang Lu, for giving us so many insights and your experience. It was a very, very interesting lesson for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Gang.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.